Real Housewives of New Jersey Ogie's husband Louis Ruelas recalls only good memories with Joe Gorga amid family feud. He calls Joe a good human being. Even with the ongoing feud between the Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Judas and his brother Joe Gorga, Louis Ruelas still has good memories of Joe. The new RHONJ husband Louis and Teresa tied the knot in August. And since then, Louis has been caught in the middle of an ongoing feud between his wife, Teresa, and his younger brother, Joe. However, Louis has always taken sides with his new wife. As a result of the conflict between the two families, Joe and his wife, Melissa Gorga, together with their children, were noticeably absent from Teresa and Louis' wedding. With this, one would believe that Louis would never have anything positive to say about Joe. However, during a recent episode of the Namas P. Dollarch's podcast, Louis only had good things to say about his brother-in-law upon their first encounter. "I met Joe through coincidence with Teresa, and it was very humbling and settling," Louis revealed during the podcast. The reality TV star also noted why it was humbling and settling to communicate with Joe. According to him, it was easy to become vulnerable with Joe on their first meeting. The RHONJ husband recalled how they both became very vulnerable within the first 10 minutes when they met. "About my work as a man, working through asterisk and all that stuff. Like you just open up to him. Joe's the kind of guy you can do that to or with," Louis added. Aside from admitting that his first encounter with Joe was a good one, Louis praised his brother-in-law as he told Teresa, "Joe, at the core, really your brother. Honestly, at the core, your brother really is a good human being." Following his statement, Teresa, in agreement with her husband, then responded, "When you first met him, everything was good, right?" During the conversation, Louis also shared that he met Joe at Joe's beach house and then stated that it was a beautiful time with him before adding that there were no complaints at all. For years, the relationship between the Gorgas and the RHONJ's OG has been going forth and back, and Louis has been in the middle of it all. The siblings have at certain times said mean things to each other. It was one of their heated arguments that led Joe and his family to be absent from Teresa and Louis' wedding. According to Joe at that time, Teresa did not want him, Melissa, or their children at her wedding. From many interviews with Teresa, Joe, and Melissa, it appears that the Real Housewives of New Jersey families will never be at peace again. However, based on the conversation with Louis during the podcast, there could be a possible reconciliation. While the families are currently not on good terms, one can tell that they all crave having a good relationship as a family. Hopefully, after hearing the positive things Louis said about Joe, the families will start considering putting their feud behind them.